Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 10-2. In this lesson, we're going to work on multiplying a fraction by a whole number, and we're going to use models. So we're still doing the same kind of thing that we were doing in lesson 10-1, but we're going to be representing it in a couple different ways. Let's go ahead and watch our short video lesson together, and then we will be able to jump into our notes and our guided practice after that.
How can you multiply a whole number by a fraction? Think about this question during the lesson. Dory lives 1/4 mile from school. If she walks to and from school each day, how far does Dory walk during a school week? Dory lives 1/4 mile from school. How many times a week does Dory walk the 1/4 mile between home and school?
Select your answer.
Okay, so our question is asking us how many times does she walk the 1/4 mile between home and school? So it takes her 1/4 mile to go and 1/4 mile to get back, and 1/4 mile to go and 1/4 mile to get back. And we have 5 days in the school week, so Monday to Friday, that's 5 days. So she walks 1/4 mile on the way to school and then another 1/4 mile on the way back. So that's 5 times to get there and another 5 times to get back. So she walks a total of 10 times per week.
10 times. You need to find the total distance Dory walks during a school week. What units will you use for your answer? You will use miles. You can use addition or multiplication to solve this problem. Why can you use multiplication to solve this problem?
Now, since we're working with equal groups, it's an equal distance that she's going to and from school multiple times throughout the week. We can use multiplication because we're adding equal groups each time. So that repeated addition of equal groups is the same thing as we would use for multiplication.
Dory makes 10 trips, and all the trips are the same length. You can draw a picture to show the distance Dory walks. How does the picture represent the problem? The diagram shows the 1/4 mile Dory walks 10 times. 10 1/4 miles added together equals 10/4 miles. Write 10/4 as a mixed number. 4 1/4 mile trips equals 1 mile. 10/4 equals 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 2/4. So 10/4 equals 1 plus 1 plus 2/4, or 2 2/4. 2 2/4 is equivalent to 2 1/2. Dory walks 2 1/2 miles to and from school each week. You can also draw a number line to show the distance Dory walks. How does the number line represent the problem? Like the drawing, it shows the 1/4 mile Dory walks 10 times. 10 times 1/4 equals the quantity, 10 times 1 divided by 4, which equals 10/4.
Remember, 1/4 is a unit fraction, so 10 1/4 parts are 10/4.
Write 10/4 as a mixed number. 10/4 equals 2 2/4, or 2 1/2. Dory walks 2 1/2 miles to and from school each week. Now you know how you can find the product of a fraction multiplied by a whole number.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our notes and our guided practice for this lesson. So 10-2, multiply a fraction by a whole number using models. Remember, you can multiply a fraction by a whole number, and you can use drawings and write equations to help model that math that you're doing. So you can draw the fraction strips, you can use the number line. All of those are good strategies. Let's take a look at our example question. How much tomato juice is needed for a group of 4 people if each person gets 1/3 cup of juice? How much is needed if they each get 2/3 cup of juice? So these are two separate questions that we're being asked. So we're going to answer both of them. So first I need to think, if there are 4 people and each gets 1/3 cup, then I need to add 1/3 4 times, or multiply 1/3 times 4. If each of the 4 people are getting 2/3 cup, then I need to add 2/3 4 times, or multiply 2/3 times 4. So for the first group, for when they each get 1/3, I can do 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 4/3. So this is using repeated addition of a unit fraction. Or I can do it as multiples of a unit fraction and then rename my improper fraction as a mixed number. So I could do 4 times 1/3, which equals 4/3. Now we know 4/3 is going to be 3/3 plus 1/3. So we have a whole plus 1/3, which equals 1 1/3 cup. Now, if each of them are getting 2/3, I'm going to use repeated addition again, and I'm going to add 2/3 4 times for the 4 people. So 2, 4, 6, 8/3 is going to be my answer here. Or I could multiply and I could do 4 times 2/3, which equals 8/3. 8/3 is the same thing as saying 3/3 plus 3/3 plus another 2/3, because 3 goes into 8 2 times with 2 left over. So that tells me that 4 times 2/3 is equal to 2 2/3. So remember, when you're solving multiplication and you're renaming the improper fraction as a mixed number, look at how many wholes are in there and how many are left over. So this is basically a division problem. How many times, if we're doing 8 divided by 3, how many groups of 3 are there in 8? So our whole is 3. So we have 2 groups of 3, that's 6, plus 2 more, which would be my remainder, which gives me the 8. Now notice when you multiply a fraction by a whole number, the denominator stays the same. Only the numerator changes and gets multiplied by that whole number. Only the numerator is the number that's going to change. Your whole stays the same. Your denominator stays the same. Let's take a look at another example. It says, calculate the distance Margot rides her bike if she rides 7/8 miles each day for 4 days. So that means I need 4 groups of 7/8. So I could do 7/8 plus 7/8 plus 7/8 plus 7/8, which equals 28/8. Again, you can look at this as a division problem. How many groups of 8 are there in 28? Well, I know 8 times 3 is 24. So here's my 3 whole, 8/8 plus 8/8 plus 8/8, which got me to 24. And then 4 more pieces, that's going to get me to 28. So that gives me 3 whole and 4/8 miles. And 4/8 I know I can rename as 1/2 because I can divide both of these by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Or I could do 7/8 times 4, which is going to be the same thing. It's going to be 28/8, and I'm going to get to my same answer. So you can write it either as repeated addition, or you could write it as multiplication. Your answer will remain the same. Let's look at one more question. It says, Wendy uses 2/12 of a loaf of bread to make 1 sandwich. So she has 2 slices of bread out of that entire loaf that has 12 pieces altogether to make a sandwich. Write and solve an equation to find B, how much bread she uses to make 4 sandwiches. So they already gave us our variable. B is how much bread she needs for 4 sandwiches. So if she uses 2 slices for each sandwich, so 2 out of the 12 slices, we need to multiply that by 4 to make 4 sandwiches. 4 times 2/12 is the same thing as saying 4 times 2, and then putting that over 12. 4 times 2 is 8, 8/12. So we can also write it as a repeated addition. 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12 plus 2/12 equals 8/12. So she needs 8 slices of bread to make 4 sandwiches. Now let's take a look at our guided practice. So the first one says, draw a picture to explain how to find 3 times 2/5. So I drew my number line and I broke it up into fifths. And I went all the way out into 10/5, which is 2 whole. Now, if I'm doing 3 times 2/5, that means I'm making 3 jumps on my number line, 2/5 at a time. So I'm jumping 2 pieces. So from 0 to 2/5, 2/5 to 4/5, 4/5 to 6/5. So pretend like you're not even seeing the denominator. 3 times 2. You're starting at 0, you're jumping 2, 4, 6. So you land at 6/5. 6/5 is the same thing over here. If we rewrote it as an addition, we can do 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5 gets us a 6/5. 6/5 we know is 1/5, or one group of one whole, so 5/5 plus 1/5 extra. So that's 1 and 1/5. For number 2, they gave us the picture over here. And they said, write an addition and multiplication sentence to show. So this is 2 6 pieces plus another 2 6 pieces. Or I could rewrite it as 2 times 2 6, and that'll give me 4 6. Now, if I wanted to rename that, since these are both even numbers, I can rename that and divide both of them by 2, and that would also be equal to 2/3. For number 3, we have a number line, and we're going to show on the number line what we're going to write an equation to show what is shown on the number line. So my number line I can see is split into thirds, and it goes out to 3 whole, which is 9/3. And it shows me skipping groups of 2. So 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. So I know I'm skipping by 2/3, and I'm making 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. So that's 4 times 2/3, which lands me at 8/3. 8/3, again, look at it as division. How many groups of 3 go into 8 to figure out how many holes you have? Well, I know 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. I can't do 3 times 3. There's not 3 whole in there. So I have 2 whole, which is the 6, plus the 2 extra to make it 8. So 4 times 2/3 is equal to 2 whole and 2/3. So 1 whole right here, 1 whole right here, plus 2/3 extra pieces. That's it for this lesson. If you guys have any questions, 4th grade, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.